What's up guys, Henry473 here bringing you another YouTube video. I'm back with another Call of Duty tier list video. I did one of these a year ago. It's pretty much the same video except Modern Warfare's on it now. The reason I'm making it again is because I've noticed with Call of Duty, people's opinions seem to change every year. What was once bad is now good, and people change their mind all the time. Like after World War II, everyone said that was awful. After Black Ops 4, World War II all of a sudden was really, really good. Black Ops 4 was awful during its life cycle. Now people are saying it was better than Modern Warfare. So I thought, I'd see if my opinions have changed since last year. I haven't watched last year's video, so I don't really know what I said. I tried recording this before, but it was like half an hour long and kind of rambly, and I wasn't that happy with it. So if I'm talking really fast, it's because I want to try and get this video done in a reasonable amount of time. I'd like to do more Call of Duty tier list videos, maybe with zombies or something like that, or Pokemon tier list videos and things like that. So if this does well, I will make another tier list video. People can leave suggestions down in the comments. Sorry I haven't been uploading this week. Motivation is always an issue, especially in a time like this. So without any further ado, I'm going to get into the video. So I'm going to go in chronological order, just because I think that's the best way to do it. We're going to start with COD 4, Modern Warfare. Now I'm going to put that in cool. Some people might put it higher. I'm just going to say this game hasn't really aged very well. As far as being like a game to advance the medium, it's probably the best Call of Duty, but it's not really that fun to go back to and play. A lot of first-person shooters especially is not a genre that ages very well. Like RPGs and things like that, or adventure games can age well, but anything that requires like rapid movement, not a big fan of Call of Duty. So campaign is great, multiplayer is great. I really like the remastered version, but the original COD 4 is just like, I'm putting it in cool because I respect its contribution to the genre, but it just doesn't really, like, why would you play it over pretty much any of the other Modern Warfares? World at War is the same problem, except it's worse. I don't want to put it in meh, but I might have to put it in meh. I'll put it in solid because it doesn't really do anything wrong. Kind of like another Call of Duty game we'll talk about later. It doesn't do anything wrong, just the engine is kind of shit. Like, World at War's hit detection's terrible. Zombies hit detection's terrible. Campaign is overrated. I've played it on veteran. It's awful. It's so unbalanced. Like, it's cool. It's a very immersive World at War or World War II experience, but it's definitely really fucking annoying. It's a great example of like minimalist storytelling. Like, there's not a lot of actual characters. The stories come from you being in this situation. It's very immersive that way, but it's still not that fun to play. It's kind of one of those nostalgia games. The multiplayer is fun to jump into just to see, but it's aged worse than COD 4. I argue it's aged worse than any other COD. At the time, people thought of it as a step back because, going back to World War II after Modern Warfare came out, it was definitely not a good idea. So yeah, I'm gonna say World at War is solid. Might drop later. Next up, Modern Warfare 2. This is where I'm gonna lose everybody. I'm gonna watch my analytics and I'm gonna watch this. Modern Warfare 2. I'm gonna put it in garbage for now. Because the multiplayer makes me really, 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 really mad. I don't like playing Modern Warfare 2 at all, really. Campaign's pretty good. It's really over the top and kind of ridiculous. And fuck, I feel wrong putting Modern Warfare 2 in garbage. I'm gonna leave it there. Because it makes me angry. The only thing about this game that's really, really good is Spec Ops. Campaign is good. Like, I got the remastered one there. I'm going to be playing it. But it's not as great as the one before it. And I think it's a bit too ridiculous. No Russian is really overrated. There's not a lot of emotional beats. The only one that's any good is Ghost's death. Modern Warfare 3 has it outclassed as far as, like, resonant moments for me. Yeah. I'm just going to leave it in garbage for now. See how many people get mad at me over that. Try playing the multiplayer. It's fucking terrible. It's so unbalanced and so broken. And I know it's not their fault because they couldn't work on the game because the whole studio was falling apart. But if a game was released nowadays that was that unbalanced, people would lose their mind. So I don't like my first-person shooters to be like annoying. I like gunplay. I don't even mind if a gun is overpowered, but if it's a certain thing like one-man army and noob tubes and Commando Pro and Commando's the knifey one. Yeah, Modern Warfare 2 makes me really mad, so I don't like it. Black Ops 1, the first go. Campaign is the best in the series by a considerable margin, I would say. It's probably the best told story, except maybe COD 4. Characters are great, really memorable lines of dialogue. I didn't mention zombies for World at War because it was very much like a I should have mentioned Zombies for World at War. It's one of the reasons that keeps it out of meh. Black Ops 1 expanded on everything World at War did. The engine's a lot better. All the World at War maps are playable in Black Ops 1. It sort of became what Zombies is today. Black Ops we owe a great Zombies fans owe a great debt to Black Ops for that, even if it's not the best version of Zombies. Multiplayer is pretty fun. Wouldn't be the best version of multiplayer ever, but like I just think it's really solid. All the maps are great. I like the gunplay. I like the Cold War aesthetic. I'm a huge like Vietnam Cold War kind of fan. I really like that style of stuff, that sort of espionage storytelling. So yeah, Black Ops is definitely, it's my personal favorite Call of Duty. It's the one I have the most fun going back to play. A lot of that is probably, except for one more maybe, which I'll put up there in a minute. But it's definitely one of the best games in the series. I think it's aged really well. I'd love to see a remaster because the hit detection isn't the best, but it's still a lot of fun to this day. Still is a healthy community. Modern Warfare 3, second go in a row. People are going to be freaking because I put Modern Warfare 2 at the bottom and MW3 at the top. Purely because Modern Warfare 3 is what would happen if you took the multiplayer of Modern Warfare 2 and fixed it. The maps are slightly worse, but the game is far less annoying. Like, most of the broken, annoying shit from Modern Warfare 3 is gone, but they still keep the nice hit detection and gunplay. The campaign is ridiculous still, but it's not quite as, like... It's not as much of a jump as from Modern Warfare 1 to 2. So, like, you're kind of used to the ridiculousness of it, and the set pieces are better. Like, knocking over the Eiffel Tower and stuff. It's gone full stupid, right? It's not, like, trying to hop on the line of serious. Story beats, like Makarov's death, Soap's death. I think it's Delta Squad being crushed underneath all the rubble. All that stuff works really well. It's a really satisfying resolution to a storyline, even though it got a little bit ridiculous in the middle. The arc of Price and Soap is really nice, so it's a great conclusion to that story. And it's the first time Call of Duty has really satisfyingly ended a story. It's just a really good Call of Duty. Spec Ops is really fun as well. I absolutely adored Survival Ops. Before I was into zombies, Survival Ops was my shit. This was also the first Call of Duty I played online, so I have a lot of nostalgia for this game, and that probably helps its ranking. Maybe you could put it down in here, but I'm going to leave it up there for now. Next up, Black Ops 2. Third GOAT in a row. I actually think it's better than Modern Warfare 3. Multiplayer is the best the series ever got, in my opinion. Campaign is one of the best. It's probably just behind Black Ops or COD 4. And Zombies is a mixed bag. When it's good, it's amazing. Like Origins and Mob. When it's bad, it's really bad. Like Transit. And I'm not a fan of Buried. I like Die Rise and I like Nuketown, so it's not as bad as it could be. But it's definitely... The multiplayer, I think, is just so crisp. Like, a lot of people nowadays are shitting on the Pick 10. I really liked it back here because it was the most customizable at the time. I think it's been bettered since and refined by other games. But no, I really, really like Black Ops 2. And I think it's probably like, I suppose in terms of like rabid fanbase reception, was the original peak of the series. It definitely started to nosedive after Black Ops 2. People say it was the end of the golden era. And I would agree with that statement purely in terms of reception. I think some games since have been really, really solid, but none... I'll spoil the video for now if there's no more GOATs. That's where I believe the series peaked, was those 3 games. And maybe that's nostalgia, but I think a lot of people would kind of agree with me. Now, Ghosts. I'm going to throw Ghosts down in meh. It's not a bad game by any means. It almost could move up to solid. I think it's just kind of not fun. Like, I went back and revisited Ghosts there a bit ago, and I had fun for a bit, but it's kind of one of those things of like, I would rather play most other Call of Duties. Campaign is fine. The gunplay, the hit detection is really nice, but the maps are too big, and the campy playstyle, like, I understand people saying like, it is annoying. There's ways around it. The create a class system of Ghost is incredible. The amount of options and variety it gives you is great, but it's still like, I don't mind camping in a game because we've seen it in other Call of Duties where camping is okay, but in Ghosts it just is really annoying. Maybe it's because of how hard it is to see players. And Extinction was okay, but it was not Zombies. Like, it's good, but I don't know. The reason Ghosts is in meh is just because it's been outclassed so much, and it really did anger a lot of the fan base. There's a really good game in there somewhere, but I feel bad putting it that low, but it really is just kind of meh, you know? It's just underwhelming. Uh, Next up, Advanced Warfare. This is my baby. I don't give a fuck. I'm putting Advanced Warfare in cool. I know that's going to get me a lot of shit. I think Advanced Warfare is far better than Modern Warfare 2. Campaign's pretty solid. It's a step up from Ghost slightly. It's my favorite. Like, I like the future setting. I think it's established really well. It hasn't aged well. Kevin Spacey's a fucking weirdo, but his villain, Jonathan Irons, is great. The cast is actually really good in this campaign. You could tell they were trying to go for like a Modern Warfare-esque group, and it paid off pretty well. There were some good character moments and some interesting deaths. Exo Zombies is underrated. Still not good, but it's not as bad as everybody says it is. There's a couple of solid maps in there. And the multiplayer, it's not fun like a lot of the time. It can get a bit tiring, and the engine isn't the best. But I still have a lot of fun going back to it. I went back to it the other day, and I enjoyed myself the entire time, more than I do going back to a lot of the CODs underneath it. So that's really what it counts for. The reason it's below Modern Warfare is because Modern Warfare contributed a lot to the franchise. Advanced Warfare didn't. But considering how fed up with Call of Duty people were after Ghosts, I think Advanced Warfare was needed. Like, we really needed it. I think Call of Duty would actually be in a worse place if we didn't have it, because it allowed people to have a renewed appreciation for boots on the ground Call of Duties. So Advanced Warfare had to die so the Call of Duty community could live. But go back and play this game with an open mind, and it's so much better than people give it credit for. Black Ops 3, the first COD, going into the sauce tier. Oh fuck, I should have mentioned. Yeah, goat, sauce, cool, solid, meh, garbage. Probably should have said that at the start. So this is like not quite perfect. You know, it's got a lot, well, no COD's perfect, but not quite, you know, top tier. It's got a lot of flaws. Campaign is dirt, for one thing. I don't know what Treyarch were thinking with that. Multiplayer is okay. It's pretty much like Black Ops 2 with advanced movement. The weapon balance is really nice. The engine's really nice. It's definitely more fluid than Advanced Warfare. A bit slower, which I don't know. Sometimes I like, sometimes I don't. The thing that stops it from being GOAT, really, aside from the campaign, is the microtransactions and the tone of the multiplayer, like all the annoying dances and stuff. I hate them all. I hate the goofiness. I hate the supply drop weapons that are locked behind a paywall that you can probably never ever get them nowadays. It's just kind of like what keeps it in sauce instead of being down in cool. I would actually probably put it below Advanced Warfare were it not for zombies. Zombies in Black Ops 3 is god tier. It is the peak of the zombies community. It is so much fun to go back and play. I still play it to this day. I'm Prestige 10. I absolutely adore Black Ops 3 Zombies, and I've put more time into Black Ops 3 because you can't track your playtime on 360 games unless you're like in the game, I suppose. But I've put more time into Black Ops 3 than any other current gen, so Xbox One COD. So that's got to count for something, and I really have enjoyed my time with the game. It's just kind of like so close to being top tier. If it had been more consumer friendly and had a better campaign, like an actual satisfying resolution to fucking Black Ops 1 and 2, if it had connected to those games more, I think it definitely would be a GOAT, but it just kind of drops the ball in a few key areas. What's next? Infinite Warfare. This is going to also rile up a few people. Going to put Infinite Warfare here. I feel like Advanced Warfare was lower when I made this list earlier, because I did like a trial run, and I feel like Advanced Warfare was lower. Yeah, I might put Advanced Warfare down here, actually, because I think, yeah, Infinite Warfare is basically Black Ops 3, but slightly worse. Campaign is better, Zombies is worse. Depends on which you prefer. Zombies isn't even awful on disc, it's just the maps get worse as the season went on. But I won't hold like the on-disc map against it, because that would take Black Ops 2 out of GOAT, because transit's terrible. The movement I actually really like. It's definitely got that Infinity Ward polish. Their hit detection has always been a cut above other studios. The movement feels weightier than Black Ops. Like, it really feels like the advanced movement has been not downplayed, but instead of being like the entire game like it is in AW, it's more of an option. It was really consumer friendly with DLC weapons and supply drops and stuff like that. It had the best way of handling them so far, in my opinion. Campaign is really solid. I haven't played much of it. Last year's tier list, I hadn't played Infinite Warfare, so I actually bought it like full price and all, and I haven't played much of it. It's my least played COD of this generation, but I definitely plan on getting more into it because I've had a lot of fun with it. It came out at the wrong time. People didn't want this COD then, and I think if this had been the first advanced movement COD, it would be considered the best one, I do believe. And if they didn't have zombies, this game would actually probably be a tier higher. But zombies drags it down. To be honest, zombies and the year it was released kind of drags it down. But there's definitely a really underrated game in there, and I urge people to give it a try. Even more than my baby, Advanced Warfare, which does have a lot of flaws. I don't even know if I mentioned them. The weapon balance is horrendous. That's why I took it out of cool and put it into solid. So yeah, Infinite Warfare is an underrated gem. Next up we have World War II. World War II is the most inoffensive Call of Duty game ever. It doesn't do anything wrong, except like the create class system isn't that great and the zombies is mediocre. Mediocre to bad, really. It's probably the weakest non-Treyarch zombies mode overall. The on-disc map is really good, but the rest kind of just goes off a cliff. Campaign, I couldn't get into it, to be honest. I thought it was too over the top and annoying. I haven't maybe my opinion will change. The multiplayer is fine. It's not too bad. It just bores me to tears. Like, I just cannot get into it, no matter what I do. With the exception of, like, towards the end of its life cycle, when all the Halloween events were coming out. That was the only time I actually enjoyed playing World War II. The rest of the time, it's just so underwhelming. It's like we desperately wanted boots on the ground back, and I think it's worse than all of the boots on the ground CODs, or all of the advanced movement CODs that came before it. So that's kind of funny. It doesn't do anything interesting at all, really. War mode is just kind of like a mediocre, I don't even want to say a mediocre Battlefield, but like just the way it's like a linear thing, it's just not interesting at all. Just the supply drop system was handled quite well, and like that's all I really have to say about it. The maps are all 3-lane cookie cutter, repetitive shit. Basically, it's just like the only thing really saving the game from garbage is the fact that it plays really well. Like there's nothing mechanically wrong with the game. It's well balanced, and the weapons are all cool. And the way they handle like post-launch support and all with the community. Once they got rid of Michael Condrey, the game took off, which was about 6 months too late, but sure. It's just really bland. Like some people could easily put it up like here, and then some people would have it down like in garbage. So, well, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but I gestured to sauce. Like some people could really like this game. I don't. Black Ops 4, garbage. Put it in the bin. Hate it. Black Ops 4 was like an abusive relationship. I really liked the game until I realized that it wasn't getting any support, and the stuff I had wasn't even that fun to begin with. They fucked us all with microtransactions. Blackout got more support than the other two game modes combined. Zombies was a tragedy of Greek proportions. How to kill a community in 12 easy steps, basically. And the game mode wasn't even awful. It was just not that fun. It was just such a step back, such a slap in the face. And I don't even really think it's the game's fault. Treyarch was sort of airlifted out of the game to work on Black Ops 5 or COD 2020, which fucking better be good because Black Ops 4 died for that game. I can't even really think of anything positive to say about it. Like I like the increased time to kill. That was fun. And the specialists are really annoying. I don't like them at all. That's not what I want in my COD game. I want gunplay. So that's kind of a spoiler for where Modern Warfare is going. I like tight gunplay. I fucking hate 3-lane maps. Like they were fine in Black Ops 2, and then Black Ops 3 did it, and then World War 2 did it, and every Call of Duty does it now, and I'm so fed up with 3-lane maps. And Black Ops 4, like every map plays the exact same. Every game. You'll have there's no variety in engagements, and they listen to the competitive fans too much. Like guns will be nerfed and buffed every other week, so you didn't really know what was good and what was bad, and yet somehow there was still overpowered stuff all the time. They didn't add nearly as much content as they said they were going to. They said this game was going to be a 3-year platform, and it's fucking dead. So I uninstalled it as well. It's the only Call of Duty to this day I've uninstalled. I absolutely do not like Black Ops 4. I think it's a disgrace to the Black Ops name. Got that off my chest. And I'm pretty sure last year on the tier list I put it in good because I was still in the abusive relationship phase. I yet to realize that this game was robbing my money. And like I feel like a fucking idiot because I actually bought specialist skins because I was like, it's okay, they're going to reward me with a good game. They didn't. And I'm a bitch. I was a simp for Black Ops 4. And it fucked me over. And now, no. Modern Warfare. Sauce. I fucking love Modern Warfare so far, man. Like, it's a bit annoying in the same, like, it's kind of like annoying in the same way Modern Warfare 2 is, except this game works. Um, I can't even really think of stuff that, like, so some of the weapons are too good, like, like the M4, but at the same time, like the Kilo's viable, the Odin's viable, all the assault rifles are pretty good. The maps I really, really like. I fucking hate 3-lane maps, as I've said, so these maps actually feel like real places. The thing that Modern Warfare nails, aside from the gunplay and the creative class system, that is beautiful. Um, like just the way the game feels. Like it's so hard to go back to old CODs because like the engine is incredible. Campaign's great so far. I haven't finished it, but I really like what I've played of it. Um, it's gorgeous. The sound design is top tier. I like the progression system. Prestiging is okay, but I was kind of bored of it, and I like the you have like season ranks. I guess I just wish you got a better reward for it. Warzone is the best battle royale I've ever played, and I'm not a big battle royale guy, but Warzone would be my favorite. Haven't even touched Spec Ops. I've heard it's shit, but I haven't needed to play it. So there's so much. Like there's 2v2 gunfight. There's ground war, Warzone, 10v10. There's so many options in this game that anyone can find something they like. And the fact that Warzone is so popular on Twitch means that this is really good for the future of Call of Duty. It's definitely it's up there as one of the best games of the generation. Depending on how they support it for the rest of the year, it could pass Black Ops 3 and maybe go into GOAT, depending on how much content they add. My thing is, if they keep supporting it through the life cycle of COD 2020 and it becomes like the first sort of 2-year COD, I suppose Black Ops 3 was a 2-year COD as well because it got Chronicles, but depending on how the rest of the year goes, Modern Warfare could go up. It could also go down if support for the game dies, but even then, that could be because of the coronavirus, so I wouldn't even really hold it against it too much. I'll do a full review of the game because it's out for a fight. When the game's out for 6 months, I'll do like a proper review of the game. And yeah, okay, so that's the end of the video. I've made it about 8 minutes quicker than the last one. I know it's kind of rambly, but these are just my unfiltered thoughts coming out. I haven't scripted it or anything like that. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll make some more tier list videos if you guys like them. More videos with me just kind of talking because they always seem to do better than the actual like walkthroughs and stuff. This message is brought to you by CineVehicle1473, stamped, sealed, and approved. I will see you guys again next time. I hope you liked the video. Peace.